Okay, so what if I told you that some of the habits we call lazy are actually secret superpowers? Yeah, you heard me right. Let's dive in.
So let me ask you a question, straight up. Have you ever been called lazy? Maybe because your desk is a bit of a creative chaos zone, or maybe you'd rather spend an evening just thinking instead of going out. It's a label a lot of us get slapped with, and let's be real, it never feels great. But what if that label is just wrong, completely off the mark? What if those so-called lazy behaviors are really signs of a super efficient, highly intelligent mind at work? I know, it sounds kind of backward, but trust me on this. Stick with me, because this idea could totally change how you see yourself.
It all boils down to this thing called the efficiency mindset. And the main idea is pretty simple. Really smart brains are basically hardwired to save their energy for the stuff that actually matters. The funny thing is, from the outside looking in, yeah, that can look a whole lot like laziness.
Now, mental efficiency isn't about doing less work, not at all. It's about being strategic. Think about it like this. Your brain is this incredibly powerful computer, right? But even the best computer has a limited amount of processing power. So an efficient brain, it's not going to waste precious energy on tiny, unimportant tasks. Nope, it's saving all that good stuff, all that horsepower, for the big, juicy, complex problems.
So, how does this actually play out in real life? Well, let's break down 6 really common lazy habits that are actually powerful strengths in disguise.
First up, the classic messy desk. The myth, of course, is that it's a sign you're disorganized, but the reality? Psychologists have a term for it, selective organization. See, your brain instinctively knows that having a perfectly tidy desk is a low priority, low impact task. So it consciously decides to save that mental energy for what really counts. That big project or that breakthrough idea you're working on.
Okay, next up, the overthinker. You know the type. To other people, you might look like you're stuck, totally indecisive, maybe just staring off into space. But what's really going on under the hood is something called cognitive complexity. You're not just reacting, your brain is literally running through countless scenarios, weighing consequences that other people might not even think to consider. And make no mistake, cognitive complexity is a serious high-level skill. It's the ability to see the world in all its shades of gray, not just in simple black and white. So that hesitation people see, it's actually a super deep reflective process that almost always leads to better, more thoughtful decisions in the long run. All right, habit number 3, the lone walker. Do you ever get that pull to just go for a walk by yourself instead of, say, sitting through yet another meeting? People might look at that and think you're avoiding work or being antisocial. But what's really happening is you're putting yourself into a deep thinking state. And here's the thing you have to understand. For a mind that's truly wired for deep, focused thought, constant social interaction can be absolutely exhausting. So being alone isn't about being antisocial. It's about creating the mental breathing room you need for real creativity and serious problem solving. It's not a luxury. For some people, it's a total necessity. Number 4 is what I call the deep obsession. Do you ever get laser focused on a new topic, learn absolutely everything you can about it, and then just move on to the next thing? The myth is that you're flaky or easily distracted, but the reality is you have an incredibly powerful curiosity system. Your brain is just feeding this intellectual hunger, and the act of learning is its own reward. This is how you build an amazing, wide-ranging base of knowledge that most specialists totally miss out on. Coming in at number 5, avoiding small talk. Are you the quiet one at the water cooler? People might mistake that for being rude or standoffish. But for a deep thinker, honestly, small talk can feel like running a marathon. Your brain is wired for depth, for meaning, and all that surface level chatter just drains your mental battery. It's not about being rude, it's about self-preservation. Now, this one is really surprising. The self-doubter. That feeling you get, that hesitation, or maybe even procrastination when it comes to your own work, it can look a lot like insecurity from the outside. But more often than not, it's a sign of something way more profound, intellectual humility. So what is intellectual humility? It means you have a sharp awareness of what you don't know. So that thing that feels like procrastination, a lot of the time, it's just you holding yourself to a much higher standard. You want to make sure your work is as good as it can possibly be. Think of it as intense quality control, not a lack of confidence. It really helps to see it this way. On one side, you have intellectual humility, which is a true hallmark of high ability. And on the other side, you have the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Where people with low ability are often completely unaware of their own limitations. Your self-doubt, It's actually a powerful signal that you're playing in a totally different league.
So, after all this, what's the big idea? What's the takeaway here? It's really about understanding that you might just have a different and maybe even smarter personal operating system for how you think and work. The bottom line is this: your brain isn't broken. If you see yourself in any of these habits, it just means your mind is working in a deeper, more complex way. It's a highly efficient system that knows how to prioritize, that seeks out meaning, and that holds itself to an incredibly high standard. These aren't bugs in your system, they're features.
I love this quote because it just sums everything up perfectly. If the standard rules of productivity just don't click with you, it's probably not because you're failing. It's because you've intuitively built a more advanced, more efficient system that's tailored just for you.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Which one of these lazy habits have you been beating yourself up over? And how can you start to flip the script and see it not as a weakness, but as your greatest and most unique strength?